Hey guys, what's up? This is my breakdown and reaction for the 2023 Oscars, the 95th Academy Awards, and I'm not going to be doing any of the smaller categories. I'm just going to be doing the major ones, so no documentary film, no score, no sound. So let's just get into it, starting with Best Director. So the nominees are Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness. Now, I have seen all of these movies, and you know, I gotta say, I love all of it. Okay, except for Tar. I love The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, and Triangle of Sadness. I love all those movies so much. I think Tar, I didn't like it. I found it, it was hard, it was convoluted, it was a little bit hard to watch, although that opening scene, like 15-minute long opening monologue that Cate Blanchett does, is phenomenal. So yeah, that's probably the only part of Tar that I liked, and there were a few scenes here and there, but overall I didn't like the movie. But The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere, Fabelmans, and Triangle of Sadness are all great movies, and honestly I would have been happy if either of these won. But personally, I think it should have went to Martin McDonagh, simply because that movie was just so fucking beautiful to me, and I really loved it. But it did go to the Daniels, and I am fine with that. Everything Everywhere All at Once was my favourite movie of the year. They definitely deserved this. Their speech was amazing. They were up on stage a lot, and they did say a lot. They were like the two of the main guys this year for the Oscars, and their speeches were so heartwarming, and it was great. I love seeing these guys. They have such a great relationship, and it was very great to see. I loved the way they talked about the film, and it was really interesting to hear what they had to say about it and what it meant to them and stuff like that. And thanking everyone, thanking their families, thanking the cast. Shout out to their mothers, because Everything Everywhere All at Once is about mothers. So I do definitely think they deserve it. But I think pretty much everyone in that category deserved it, maybe except for Todd Field. And I would have been happy if it went to anyone. But if I did have to pick a personal preference, it would have been Martin McDonagh for Banshees of Inisherin, because I love that movie, and I think that movie is so well directed. So yeah, but the Daniels won Best Director. So moving on to Best Supporting Actor. So the nominees are Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin, and Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So yeah, I have seen all these movies except for Causeway. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I definitely wanted to. I definitely will. I did not get a chance to watch it, but I have seen all these movies, and I love all of them. So I had my personal preference, maybe. I think I would have said Brendan Gleeson, but ultimately did not go to him. It ultimately went to Ke Huy Quan, and I'm happy with it, right? I am very happy with it, because his speech was just so, like, it honestly made me really emotional. It was so beautiful. And ultimately, I'm very happy that it went to him, because his speech was fucking phenomenal. Like, it made me tear up. And, like, it was the only speech to make me do that. It was just, and the entire awards season, to see how happy he's, so, okay, if I had to pick one, I would have said Brendan Gleeson, just because he was incredible in Banshees of Inisherin, and I feel like he was a lead, but I guess they can only have one lead nominee for a leading role. But I'm 100% happy with it being Ke Huy Quan, because he deserves it. He was fucking phenomenal in that movie, and he has such a great story that he was short round in Indiana Jones, and he couldn't get work, and he worked as a stunt coordinator or a fight coordinator for a while, and he just couldn't get work, and he was ready to give up on acting if this didn't work out. And just to see how well it worked out is so uplifting and so heartwarming, and his speech was amazing, talking about how he came here as a refugee, and he's living the American dream. It is so uplifting and so heartwarming, and he was phenomenal in that movie. He was awesome, and I'm 100% happy with him getting the Oscar for it, because it was just amazing. The entire award season, he's been so happy and so grateful for all of this, and he deserves it. He really does. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so glad that he got it, right? I would have been happy with him or Brendan Gleeson, right? If there was someone else, I would have been like, oh, okay, it definitely deserves to go to these two. But if it's not Brendan Gleeson, I'm happy it's Ke Huy Quan. Absolutely amazing. he was so great in that movie, and he deserves it. I really can't wait to see him in Loki season 2, which he will be in. But yeah, so really, really great, really emotional speech. It did make me tear up seeing how happy he was. It was just beautiful, and it really was a memorable moment. So next up we have actress in a supporting role, and the nominees are Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Kerry Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, I've seen all these movies. I love all these movies. I actually do love all these movies. These movies are fantastic. And all these actresses are great in these movies. They are great, right? And if I had to pick, I would have said Angela Bassett or Stephanie Hsu. But if you're watching this, you've obviously seen the Oscars and you know who gets it. Kerry Condon, you know what? Kerry Condon didn't get it. I'm just saying, I wouldn't have minded if she got it, because she was great in Banshees. She was really, really great. But I feel like Jamie Lee was only good, right? She wasn't doing anything groundbreaking, and she wasn't doing anything like that crazy. She was just an IRS agent who, she portrayed all these different versions of herself, and she was there she had an important role in the movie, but she just, wasn't as important as Stephanie Hsu. She didn't give as good as a performance as Stephanie Hsu in that movie. So I think if it was going to go to someone from Everything Everywhere, it should have been Stephanie. But ultimately, it wasn't. It went to Jamie Lee, which, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously. Laurie Strode, the OG Final Girl. Everybody loves Jamie Lee Curtis, right? And she is Hollywood royalty, but I just think, I know I just said Stephanie Hsu, but I think the real person who deserved it was Angela Bassett, and you could see, when they said Jamie Lee Curtis, you could see Angela Bassett was fuming. She was, and I don't blame her. I do not blame her at all. You know what, sometimes I go back and I just watch that speech that she gives in the throne room in Black Panther, just to watch it again, because it's so amazing. I just watched that scene. I just turn it on YouTube and then get it off, or on Disney Plus. It's just that powerful and so amazing. She should have got it. She just should have, and I understand why they gave it to Jamie. I mean, like, she is Hollywood royalty, and it's, past time she gets an Oscar, but I just wish she had done something Oscar worthy to actually get one. That's my problem with it. And she just, it is what it is. That's how the Oscars is. They wanted to give her some recognition for her career, which is a great career. It is a great career. I just wish it went to Angela Bassett, or at least Stephanie Hsu, or at least Kerry Condon. All three of those actresses were better. I don't want to put Jamie Lee Curtis down. She is a great actress. I love her. I love her in movies, but this movie was not her. She was fine. She was good. That's the thing. She was good. I just was not as good. She was nowhere near as good as the others. So, ultimately I'm disappointed with how this went. Everybody else is as well. It should have went to Angela Bassett. She was the front runner. She was winning everything else. It should have went to Angela Bassett. Anyway, next up is Best Picture. So, the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. Now, I want to make it clear, I have not seen All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, Elvis, or Women Talking. The rest I have seen. And it doesn't really matter, because none of those won anyway. If they did, that would have been a different story. But I have seen Banshees, Everything Everywhere, Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun, Triangle of Sadness, and I loved all of them, except for Top Gun, just because I actually have not seen the original. I know. I need to watch the original and then come back and watch the second one, because it will just mean that much more. But it is what it is. I saw the second one. It was it was a good movie, but it didn't hit me the same way it hit everyone else. I also am bummed out that I never got a chance to see Elvis, but it is coming on Netflix soon, so I will check it out. But so yeah, all these movies are supposedly great. All Quiet on the Western Front did win a bunch of awards, and good for it. I did try to watch it. I couldn't be reading subtitles the whole time, and the English dub was terrible, so I didn't end up finishing it. I watched like half an hour of it. I just couldn't do it, but I hear it's a great movie. So yeah, anyway, ultimately it did go to Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I think deservingly so. Honestly, you know what? I think I could have made an argument. Well, you could have made an argument for Triangle of Sadness. I know, other than the obvious ones, which was Banshees and Fabelmans, you could have made an argument for Triangle, because I loved Triangle of Sadness. I thought that movie was actually fucking awesome. I loved it. It was like, if I watched it before my top 10 movies of the year came out, I definitely would have put it on the list. It would have been somewhere on that list. Maybe in top 5, I think. That movie was awesome, but yeah. It did ultimately go to Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I think deservedly so. It is a great movie. I don't just want to keep saying the same thing over and over again. But it was just fantastic, and it does deserve it. You know, I see some people nowadays hating on the movie and being like, oh, it's overrated. It's not overrated. It's not. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie. I don't care what anyone says. It's the best movie of 2022. It just is. I mean, in my opinion, you know. So, I think it deserves Best Picture. The cast was great. The directing was great. It was a great, innovative, creative, beautiful movie, and it deserves Best Picture. So now it is officially the best movie of 2022, as according to the 95th Academy Awards. So I don't feel bad for saying, and I know a bunch of other people agree with me, but there are a lot of people on Twitter trying to put the movie down and saying, oh, it's overrated or whatever. It's not overrated. It's an awesome movie, and it deserves it. It really does. Although, you know, it would have been nice to see The Fabelmans or Banshees get some recognition, because they got zero recognition from the Oscars, and I love both those movies so much. Fabelmans was my second favourite movie of the year. So yeah, if those two movies won, I wouldn't have been mad, but ultimately it went to Everything Everywhere, and it is what it is, and it is deserving of it. So yeah, moving on. Best Actor. So the nominees are Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for Aftersun, and Bill Nye for Living. Now, I did not see Aftersun or Living. I tried to watch Aftersun. I watched like half an hour of Aftersun, and I wasn't really into it, so I did turn it off. And I didn't see Living at all, or Elvis. Oh god, I only did see Banshees and The Whale. Oh god, I only realized that makes sense, because I was about to say I only was rooting for Colin Farrell or Brendan Fraser, but that's because I hadn't seen any of the other stuff. Okay, well, it is what it is. I definitely should have saw them, and maybe I shouldn't even be having an opinion on this because I did not see the other three. But, you know, it doesn't really matter, because the Oscar ultimately went to Brendan Fraser. And I either wanted him or Colin Farrell to win. Not just because I'd seen those movies only, but because I think those are the best movies on the list. I loved The Whale. I made a video on it. Go check it out if you have not seen it. I loved The Whale, and I thought Brendan Fraser was fantastic in it, but I also loved Banshees of Inisherin. I thought that movie was fucking phenomenal. And I think Colin Farrell was so good. He just has so many heartbreaking lines, and he gives a heartbreaking performance. But so does Brendan Fraser. And so, if either one of them won, I would have been probably equally as happy. But I am... Actually, maybe not. I think I was on Brendan Fraser's side, because he has had such a rough go of it, you know, in the past few years. And he was, not outcasted, but he wasn't doing much in Hollywood because of what happened. And this was the year of comebacks. I've heard a bunch of people say that, and I agree. This is the year of comebacks, and to see Brendan Fraser's amazing comeback, you know, it sucks that Batgirl got cancelled, because I would have loved to see what he did with Firefly in that movie, but it is what it is. At least he got the Oscar for The Whale, because that movie was fantastic, and he was fantastic in it, and his speech was so heartbreaking. It was truly, truly heartbreaking. Well, not heartbreaking, but you know, it was beautiful. And just, you could see how emotional he was. You could see how much this meant to him. I mean, he was like even emotional, like teary-eyed before they even announced that he won. He was just seeing the reels of the nominees, and he was already crying. I mean, like, it meant that much to him, and it was so heartwarming to see. So I'm glad it went to Brendan Fraser. I was very happy when they called out his name. I like clapped for like most of the ones I wanted to win when they did win. I like physically clapped, and so yeah, very, very happy with Brendan Fraser. He gave a stellar performance, and I'm excited to see what he does next. I don't know what his upcoming projects are, but I'm very excited to see them. So yeah, that's it for Best Actor. Went to Brendan Fraser. Next up is Actress in a Leading Role, and the nominees for Best Actress were Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere. I think this is clear and cut. I think it was obviously going to be Michelle Yeoh, but there was a bunch of people were saying it could be Cate. I thought Cate, from what I saw of Tar, which was basically I saw like, you know, an hour and a half of the movie, and I couldn't do it anymore. She was great. She wasn't the problem. Kate Blanchett was not the problem with Tar. The problem was it just wasn't for me. It was anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but she wasn't the problem, right? She gave a great performance, and that first 15 minutes is phenomenal. Ana de Armas, I didn't think she actually gave a great performance in Blonde at all. I thought, I like Ana de Armas. She's so great in Knives Out, right? And I'm very excited for her new movie with Chris Evans. But she didn't give that good a performance. She was, her accent, you could hear her accent coming through every line. And it was just, frustrating. And the movie overall isn't good. And it's very problematic, I would say. So, yeah. Andrea Riseborough, I didn't see till Leslie, so I can't have an opinion. But Michelle Williams was brilliant in The Fabelmans. She delivers a brilliant line. And she says, do what your heart tells you because you don't owe anyone your life. And I love that line. But ultimately, the Oscar went to Michelle Yeoh, and I couldn't be happier about it. She fucking deserves it. I'm sorry, but Everything Everywhere is like, it's a phenomenon. I'm sorry, but it is. It completely swept the Oscars. It is now the #1 most awarded film of all time, and there's a reason for that, There is a reason for that. It was a beautiful, beautiful movie, and she deserved it. She deserves this recognition for her role. It was amazing. She said this in interviews. She brought a voice to those people like her, or not like Michelle, but like Evelyn, her character in the movie. The movie was great, and she was brilliant. She had to do so many different things, all while keeping this emotional core, the emotional center of the movie. She was so brilliant. I only wish that Stephanie Hsu would have won. That way all the acting nominations except for Best Actor could have gone to... Oh wait, they did. Never mind. I just think, to have all 3 members of that family in Everything Everywhere get an Oscar would have been beautiful. But, it went to Jamie Lee, so at least it stayed in the family, kind of, with Everything Everywhere. Stayed in the Everything Everywhere family, but still. She was amazing. Her speech was amazing. There was a really good reaction video of her mother reacting to it in Malaysia, of her winning, and that was so heartwarming. She gave a brilliant speech, and I thought it was also beautiful that Halle Berry was the one to present her with the award, seeing as she was the first woman of colour to win an Oscar, and Michelle Yeoh is now the second woman of colour in history to win an Oscar. So that is beautiful, that is poetic, that is amazing. I loved this speech. I loved the movie. She is fantastic. I cannot wait to see what she does next. I think this year was really good in terms of the Oscars. There were a few things that happened, but overall this year was really, really good. And I very much enjoyed watching it live. It was long. I think they could have cut some of the categories out. And I think Jimmy Kimmel's jokes weren't the best. But overall, I think the Oscars, the 95th Academy Awards, were done really, really well. So that's it for my breakdown and reaction for the Oscars 2023. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.